Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina wa min mudillala wa min hadiyala. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Qala raufur rahim, inna Allahu malaikatahu yusalluna 'alan nabi. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alaihi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ashafi wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Allahumma ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Allahumma ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Allahumma sabbit aqdamana al-Islam. Allahumma sabbit aqdamana al-Islam. Allahumma sabbit aqdamana al-Islam. Oh Allah, you are my Lord. Oh Allah, you have created Asman, Zamin, Inshan. To you alone we worship. To you alone we repent. To you alone we seek refuge. Ya Allah, the Ummah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Bangladesh, in Syria, in Chechnya, in Kashmir, in Pakistan, Rohingya Muslim, in Iraq, in Yemen. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. All over Africa they are suffering from famine. Ya Allah, to you alone we beg for your help. Ya Allah, you are my Lord. Help us, help us, help us. There is no one can help us except you. To you alone we worship. We believe the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Rabb, my Lord, make us love you. Make us love your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, my Lord. Make us love your Quran, my Lord. Make us love your deed. My Lord, connect this heart to your Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. My Lord, yours is the most merciful, the most forgiving. My Lord, forgive our sin. Raise her on the day of Akhirah under your shade. On that day when the sun will be so hot, Allah, we won't be able to bear it. We need you, Allah. We need you, Allah. We need you, Allah. To you alone we worship. To you alone we beg for forgiveness. La ilaha illallah, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. La ilaha illallah, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. La ilaha illallah, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord. My Lord, I beg for your forgiveness. My Lord, I beg for hidayah. My Lord, I beg for taqwa. My Lord, protect us azab-e Qabr, azab-e Jahannam. My Lord, those who are experiencing difficulties in their personal life, help them, Allah. Help them, Allah. Help them, Allah. Ya Allah, all those who are ill, in hospital, in home, give them shifa. Give them shifa. Give them shifa. Ya Allah, I thanking you for the gift you gave me yesterday. Ya Allah, I thanking you the gift you gave me yesterday. Ya Allah, you are the one who make miracle. Ya Allah, protect us from bala musibat. Ya Allah, protect us from your anger. Ya Allah, accept our dua, our ibadat. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الدين إنه عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. My dear respected elders, brothers, sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm thankful to the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm thankful for His blessings that I'm able to come to the studio. I am thankful for His blessing I'm able to continue to travel around UK to help the poor and the needy. I'm thankful to my Lord who give life, who take life, to help me in good time, in difficult time. Oh my Lord, I pray to you where there's war to bring peace. Oh my Lord, I pray to you where there is famine to bring rain. Oh my Lord, I pray to you to be a voice until you take me away for the poor, for the needy, for those who are suffering. This week, every day, like every week, I've been getting lots of message. Salatul Janaza, Salatul Janaza, Salatul Janaza. We are living in a materialistic world. We fall in love with all the gadget. We fall in love with this dunya. We fall in love to have money, to have wealth, to have big cars, big house. Always we want. We don't know when to say enough is enough. A friend sent me a video. In this video, he said, I have 420 friends. Listen to this carefully. I have 420 friends. I am lonely. I am lonely. I am lonely. 3 times he said, I am lonely, I am lonely, I am lonely. Then he asked the question, why I am lonely? I am lonely because I don't get to talk to you face to face. I talk to you to the WhatsApp. I talk to you to the email. I talk to you to text. But none of you have time for me to say hello, how are you? How is life treating you? And so on and so on. Because all of you are busy in your WhatsApp. You all are busy in Facebook. You're all busy working days and nights to look for money. To the extent you have no time you have no family time. You even have no time for your children. And what we fail to understand, this life is a journey. This journey one day will end. And when this journey ends, when you meet your Rabb, when He asks you, you were on a journey 60 years. You were on a journey 30 years. You were on a journey 50 years. You were on a journey 70 years. What have you done for yourself, for your deen and for me? I'm scared. I'm terrified. But I can tell you, I've been saying, Allah be my witness, everything I do, everything I said. Islam Awareness Week is coming. I am working with Initiative of Change. We're going to have a program in Rotherham, in Sheffield, in Doncaster, and last night I had a telephone conference. Inshallah, we will have a program in Bradford, Islamic Society of Britain, in partnership with Initiative of Change. And today I'm pleased to say I have two special guests. Will be here 10:30 live. There's a lot to talk. I have to manage time. In 1 hour we have a lot to talk. And I hope you all will tune in. Don't hesitate. There is studio hotline 01142425 to ring. My two guests are well known, and no doubt each one of them will be delighted to hear from you. We are having Islam Awareness Week. Will be held in the church in Sheffield. Will be held in the mosque in Rotherham. Will be held in college in Doncaster. Will be held in restaurant in Bradford. Is something special this year. We want to look the impact of Brexit. We want to look the impact of far right across Europe. And for me, the extra dimension in this challenging time, how we look for one another, how we care for one another, how we support one another, and how we going to say, build bridges, no wall. Build bridges. And there's something amazing. The headline every day tell Muslim terrorists, Muslim fundamentalists, Islam, Quran equal violence, na'uzubillah. But I can sit here, share a lot of beautiful story. When I have invited you, Allah be witness, in this radio for many years, come and join me to do dawah. When the President of United States imposed a ban on 6 Muslim countries, the Christian women of America, the Christian women of America wear hijab, say they are in solidarity with a Muslim. And this ban is not on American nation, but is from the politician. And second news, the Jewish grave in America was damaged. Who did it? Allah knows. The Muslim in America get together, raise money, repair all the grave. Despite all the difficulties the Muslims are facing in America, they do not forget human being in the pain, in the suffering. And this is the quality of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we look at his seerah. And today, where are you? I invite you today, inshallah. I will be at the storage. I have people ring me from St. Mark Church. Next week I got Jesus Christ Church is coming. Where's everybody? Tonight we are sorting clothes to send to Greece. I need plenty of volunteers. From 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock, come along, help and support this humanitarian mission. And it's still not too late. We're still collecting money. And you can ring me 07930 313 773. Collection of money deadline tomorrow. I need financial assistance for this big project. I want you all. Last Sunday, St. Mark Church has done a collection. They're going to send it tonight, inshallah. And I want you all to make a collection with your friend, your relative. We need to finish that grease container as quickly as possible. It's a headache for me. I got a lot of work. Also, Islam Awareness Week is coming. I need your help, your support. Give me a call. I'm going to have two big events. One event two events in Rosaram. We're going to have the Mosque Open Day, and the second event, which will be in association of Initiative of Change, the impact of Brexit. We will talk about that more later, inshallah. So it's time for you to join me in this noble mission. I am ready to work days and nights for my Lord. I'm ready to spend what I have for my Lord. I don't work, I don't have wages. But I'm a happy man. I'm happy because when I meet my Lord, I have no wealth. My accountability, I hope, going to be good, Allah knows. But together we can do a lot for our deen, for our fellow human being. Take a pause. The billboard, the materialistic world are taking you into an illusion. And none of you knows where it's going to end. But one thing is clear, is with hope and happiness, is to live, and there's a guidance of Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where you will find the inner peace, where you find the happiness of family, where you will find the nur and barakah of your home. Yesterday I did a school assembly. I said to the children, don't spend all your time in this gadget. Value education more than the gadget. And today I have a school assembly. I will give the same message. Tomorrow I have a school assembly. I will give the same message. I'm telling you all, you have to be a good example for your son, for your daughters. Life is short. We face many challenges. Yesterday I was in Birmingham. I have an important meeting with a brother to ask him to help me to buy food to send to the refugees. When I got there, one of the workers said, both the two brothers has left. There's a janaza in Preston. So I rang them. They say, Uncle, sorry. Is a very, very close friend of us has passed away. We're going to be in Preston until very late. Sorry to come all the way to Birmingham. I said, don't be sorry, Alhamdulillah. Then I went to see a brother. I said to him, the last 5 months has been the most difficult time of my life. And I burst into tears. He says, "Shall I make you a cup of tea?" I said, sorry, I'm too much emotion with a stress. He said, don't be sorry. I know you for 20 years. 20 years you have spent your time in helping humanity. You have spent your time in doing dawah. I'm very pleased you come and talk to me. Subhanallah, look how Allah worked. He said to me in Coventry Road, we have 2 billboards. The billboard is on the property of a mosque. The mosque give it to us to look after. For your pain and suffering, it was not for you, for your family. It was for the ummah who are suffering so much. To bring happiness to you, we're going to give you this billboard for 7 months, starting 1st of April, free of charge. Look at this billboard after your pain, your suffering. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent you a gift. And you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us so much, give us so much. How many times in a day we say, wa shukulillah, wa shukulillah, wa shukulillah. I hope you will ring me. I hope you will help me on the journey of Islam Awareness Week. I hope you will help me on the journey of sending the container. We're going now for a commercial break. When come back, inshallah, have 2 distinguished guests. See you soon, inshallah.
For the community, by the community, Iman FM, 103.1 FM.
सामीन अजीब कार अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैं राजा खुशनूद खान पेश करता हूं प्रोग्राम मसला क्या है हर जुमारात शाम 6 बजे से 8 बजे तक जिसमें ज़ेर बहस आएंगे आइली मिली समाजी दीनी सकाफती कौमी और बैनुल-अक़वामी उमूर
In a world where accident claims are poorly managed and the referral fees paid are so low, and just when all hope is lost in the city of Sheffield, a hero emerges. A hero so powerful, one phone number is all you need. A hero named Mr. Compensator. For your referral fee of £2,000, call Mr. Compensator now on 0114 3863 386. Terms and conditions apply.
तो दोस्तों बड़ी ठंडी की आ रही है नी
मैं जुलियन और जुमेरा
दुबई जा रहे हैं
नहीं जुमेरा स्पाइस रेस्टोरेंट
उठा क्या खास है
1976 दी देसी रवायती खाने जेड़े पाकिस्तान ने जाने माने शेफ बनाने ने खाई दा वतनी याद अच्छा है लैम चाप्स चिकन बोटी लीवर टिक्का चिकन काबली मैन डिशां विच देसी स्टाइल हाउस स्पेशल कढ़ाइयां ते बाल्टी डिशां अच्छी तरह खाओ या डिलीवरी कराओ
जुमेरा स्पाइस रेस्टोरेंट 1 द कॉमन एक्टर्सफील्ड शेफील्ड S35 9WJ 01142 467 238
मैं जा रही हूँ द बाजार में
For a great happy shopping day, visit the bazaar. You will love the new bazaar.
जहाँ पर हर तरह के नए फैशन अच्छी कीमतों के साथ खुले हैं.
Visit the bazaar at Syme Street, BD1 3RB, former Rawson Market.
Open every Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Also every Wednesday at Leeds Kirkgate Market.
The Bazaar, जहाँ आपको हर किस्म की चीज मिल सकती है.
The Bazaar. Ooh yeah.
नाम मेरा नूरीन लतीफ है और पहचान कश्मीर ऑर्फन्स रिलीफ ट्रस्ट कोट मीरपुर है 2005 के होलनाक ज़लज़ले ने सब रिश्ते और सहारे छीन लिए फिर जिंदगी ने हर सवाल का जवाब पाया कोट से
कोट एजुकेशनल कॉम्प्लेक्स जड़ीकस मीरपुर के फेज 2 में हॉस्टल्स की तामीर जारी है आपका ताउन और सरपरस्ती की जरूरत है कश्मीर ऑर्फन्स रिलीफ ट्रस्ट 0300 123 774 court.org.uk
Your voice matters for your community. Here at Eman FM, we're looking for presenters. Would you like to step into the media industry? Are you interested in being a radio presenter? Can you talk about local issues? Do you want to serve your community? If the answer is yes, then contact Eman Media now on 0114 242 0551 or email info@emanfm.com.
ओ दोस्ता ओ मेरी स्पीडिंग टिकट है मैं क्या करा
तू खान सोलिसिटर्स की कॉल कर उना कोल स्पेशल टीम ही जेडी रोड ट्रैफिक केसेस रेड लाइटां नो इंश्योरेंस तो किनी के इमिग्रेशन फ्रॉड मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग पर्सनल इंजरी क्लेम्स सिविल लिटिगेशन तक कत्ल दे केस भी हल करने ने ते जे तुसा समझो कि पुलिस तुसे नाल कोई ज्यादती कीती है ते ओ कंपनसेशन भी दुआने ने ओ खान चढ़ा माड़ी जान
Khan Solicitors 351 Abbeydale Road Sheffield 0114 258 3399
Your voice, your choice. You are listening to Radio Iman on 103.1 FM.
Good morning to my special guests. I'm honored and privileged to welcome Right Honorable David Vickers and also David Curtis.
He's also Right Honorable.
and both of them are very active member, are doing a lot of good thing for humanity. Both of them has been a long-standing member of Initiative of Change. There's a lot to be discussed. I'm not going to say a lot more about these two distinguished guests. All of you can see these two guests live on air now on Iman FM, and you will hear live what they are saying. David, you are traveling a lot to Lebanon.
Yes.
And you've been a lot in Middle East. We are living in a very challenging time. And when I go and do school assembly, sometimes children said to me, Mr. Abdul, is there any hope for us children for tomorrow? Every time we look at the news, we look at the Facebook, everything is going from bad to worse. what would you say?
I have to believe in hope, otherwise there's no point in doing anything. But by doing things, we create hope for people. If we go into a place where there's a natural disaster or a war, where people have given up on everything, we become their hope. By being there, by feeding them, by giving them shelter and clothing. And that sparks hope in them, and then they can regain the lives that have been lost under education and employment, and they can start thinking about making a new life for themselves where they are or somewhere else. But I think people in aid work, from faith backgrounds or not from faith backgrounds, if they are showing people love, that will lead to hope.
Now, David Curtis, you're very much involved into the faith, and you have had a big difficulty in your personal life recently about your illness. I believe, and I know like you, I'm very much into faith, that God has given you a new lease of life.
Yes.
I believe in that.
So
okay?
do I, Abdul.
So, right?
So do I.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And how do you use this new lease of life to motivate yourself? And my question to you, if you look right now across Europe, there's a rise of far right.
Yes.
And a lot of evil thing is taking place, rightly or wrongly.
Yeah.
And what is your answer? What is a solution to this challenge we are facing?
It's a big question, but firstly, just like you and I, as brothers in faith, we have to listen to one another. And we are making a big effort in this country, but here in Sheffield and Rotherham particularly, to listen to one another. And also to feel listened to, that what we say is taken into consideration and people think about it and don't just dismiss us. And I've been going to Ukraine and that area of the world for 20 years until this illness befell me 2 years ago. And then I listened to God in my prayers and in my quiet time, and my thought was it was time to stop going to Ukraine and to Romania and other countries, but now to let the work that's been done there over that 20-year period have its own legs, that they now should start taking responsibility for that, and I should operate from home. And with the advent of technology and with Skype, we can have Skype board meetings whenever we want to. And now we have a whole network of people in Ukraine who are working for good, and they are doing training based on the work that we've done with them over the years, but they're doing it themselves and teaching others how to be ethical in the way they do business and the way they run their lives. And we're still working on that now, but the format's changed. And we have a meeting, just as it happens, this coming Saturday, where we're going to be talking about this idea of listening to one another. And I've been pleasantly surprised by the response we've had from the emails that we've sent out. Some people we've not seen for quite a long time, and suddenly they are interested, they're coming back. We have a Catholic priest, who's not been for maybe a couple of years, but he's coming on Saturday. And we have an Albanian couple who we've not seen for 2 or 3 years, but they're coming. They now live in Chesterfield. And the idea behind this gathering on Saturday is to encourage people to get together and listen to one another and not talk, let the other person speak and be listened to. And we're calling it the Listening Roadshow. So this is my new work, I believe. This is what now God's led me to do. And it's needed. It's very much needed. Not just in this country, but once we've got the model, we can spread this certainly across Europe, because in July I will be at our conference centre in Switzerland, and we have one conference that's called Europe's Unfinished Business. And so that's where life's leading me at the moment.
Okay, on this good note, I can tell you that we're going to have a listening roadshow in Sheffield, Rotherham, Doncaster, and Bradford. Last night I had a telephone conference with the executive member of the Islamic Society of Britain, and they have penciled Wednesday for the listening. So that's going to be a good one. The first one we are kicking off will be Bradford. Then we're going to move to Doncaster, Rotherham, Sheffield. And sadly, we have to spread it a bit because of Easter.
Yes.
And Easter, if Easter was not around, then we could have finished it. But nevertheless, it's good to have a break.
It is.
The issues are going to be around for a while. So.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's continue our discussion. I want the listening roadshow been initiated by Initiative of Change.
Yes.
Now, both of you has been involved with Initiative of Change for many years. Now, if I start with you, David Vickers, in a short sentence, how would you describe Initiative of Change for all our listeners, and especially now you're live, people all over the world can see your face, see what you're saying. It'll be good if they know what is it. Please.
Initiative of Change started in the 1930s. Originally it was a Christian movement headed by somebody called Frank Buchman, and his initial impetus was to try and prevent the Second World War by getting people together and talking rather than planning to fight. After the war, because the war did happen, after the war he got French and German leaders together to help rebuild Europe, and they started a series of conferences in Switzerland, and they've continued until today. They're happening every year in Switzerland, getting people from around the world together to talk, to listen, and to build a future. The whole basis of it is that if you want to see change in the world, it has to start with yourself. You can't expect to see a change in other people unless you have the change in yourself to give. And it's based on love. So people meeting all over the world, in lots of countries, there are initiatives of change projects and activities where people work together towards peacemaking and peace building, towards environmental things which affect the environment, in business, to look at honest and just business practices, anti-corruption, and many other areas which people working together loving each other, bringing about personal change and translating that into global change, into global issues.
Now, David Curtis, I have a question for you. You have been involved with Initiative of Change for a number of years.
35 years, I think.
35 years, a long time. Now, as human beings, this is the way God has created us. There's a reason for it. God knows better than we do. Has created us with strength and weakness. Similarly, any given organization, regardless how big or small they are, they face the same challenge as us as human beings, because any organization, the fabric of it is human being, yes. You and me. How will you describe the success of this organization looking back, and also where the pitfall been? So the members of the public who are listening to it live across the globe, they will have a true perspective, a good picture.
I think the first thing is that it's based on faith. But that does not mean that we reject people who have no faith. In fact, we welcome them. And you have faith, I know this, and I have faith. As a Christian, you as a Muslim. And we have at our conference centre, the one in Switzerland that David Vickers talked about, that was given to us in 1946 by the Swiss members of our movement who felt they'd been spared the Second World War because they were neutral. And so a small, 100 of them actually, families and individuals, gave savings, buildings, property, commitments to buy a derelict hotel, the one that we currently use, that has 400 bedrooms in it, that became the centre for the reconciliation of Germany and France in 1947. 1947 is a very significant year. It's also the year I was born. But it began with faith. So people, when they had no money, but people would find money. Some people were rich and some people were not. And the rich would give to projects just the way it happens now. And from that early birth sprang other initiatives within Europe initially, but that spread all around the globe. So we have people from every continent, almost every country. I know that last time I was there I counted over 70 countries at the particular conference I was at. Many of them can't afford to go there under their own volition because they don't have any money. But others provide so that they can get to the place is called CAUX, C-A-U-X. It's a good thing to look at on your computer if you have the opportunity. And we have people now from every country and every faith. We are working much more prominently with the Muslim faith now. I have a lot of friends who are Muslims, and of course David and I have been to Lebanon and Egypt, and we are beginning to build a world network of Muslims as well, and who are also taking initiatives and doing things, wonderful things. And I know things happen from Sheffield, wonderful things that are done out of the goodness of people's hearts. And there's some joint work between Muslims and Christians. But we also have a centre in India. So, of course, the centre in India is it's linked back to Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah. So he was a friend of Frank Buchman, and in this centre in India there are many things from his home that were given to the centre after he died, the tables and not rich things because he lived very simply. But his grandson Raj Mohan Gandhi is coming to England very soon, and he's going to do a tour of different places. He's retired now, but he was a professor for many years in America. So the link is still there. So we also have strong links with the Hindus and with every faith. And we try so hard to integrate people when we have our conferences. I was at one conference a couple of years ago where we actually had an Israeli there who was working for world peace, but he was a Jew. And on the platform, he just happened to be sitting next to a Palestinian who is a strong worker with us, whose family had been bombed the day before, and 13 of them killed. And yet this man, Imad, his name is, had the strength to sit next to this Jewish man. And they actually both took part in this conference and were able to talk to each other, even though that terrible event had just happened. And I have the greatest of respect for Imad for carrying that through. But it's that sort of place. It's a very neutral place. And people come from countries, you name it, round the globe. Sometimes two opposing factors will come. I remember some Chechens one year coming, and some representing the Russian faction, and they spent several days there, and I don't know what came out of it, but the fact is they were there together, and where possible they prayed together, because we try and encourage prayer, and it's just a very remarkable organisation that for all these years has been sustained by individuals. It's never been a government-funded thing. It's always been individuals that have given. Or many of the older ones now are leaving their entire wealth to the organisation. When they die, they have given everything. We had one prominent member was Fritz Philips of Philips Electricals in Holland, you know. Very obviously wealthy family, and supported us for many years. He was nearly shot during the Second World War for helping Jews to escape from Holland, but he survived, and all through his life, and two of his daughters have worked with us closely. There's just one left now, one daughter left. There is a son, but he's not involved with us. So that people like him, with the resources like they have often come to the rescue when we've needed financial help. So it's a very unique organisation, I think. You know, you need to maybe read about it and look on the website and just see some of the amazing things that have come to pass because of the cooperation between human beings who are really genuinely interested in other human beings.
That is a good word, that human being interested in another human being. I like this. That will lead me directly to go to David Vickers. You've been traveling a lot to Lebanon. Why you go there? And do you go there for holiday, to enjoy life? Or unless you got a second wife, is touched away there. But what hope you're taking to Lebanon is very, very volatile.
Yes. I first went to Lebanon in 1999, and I was part of a group who were giving medical help in the villages surrounding Kana in South Lebanon, where the Israelis had bombed a UN post where local people were gathering. So there was a lot of trauma, a lot of psychological trauma, physical trauma, and I started on a mobile clinic going around the villages surrounding the site of that Grapes of Wrath massacre, it was called. Then money became available to teach nurses from those villages, and I am a teacher of nurses. That's my background, and so I originally went for 6 months and stayed for 3 years, training nurses from the villages until they got to a point where they were licensed practitioners. And then the core of them set up a community nursing service in the villages, and they're still going today. I had a second spell from 2004. I was employed by the same NGO, and we were mainly doing projects in Palestinian camps, training in mental health issues and responses in the camps, and also a number of other projects with Lebanese and Palestinians. The war in Syria changed a lot of things. It started 7 years ago this month, and maybe 2 million refugees came over from Syria into Lebanon, others into Jordan, Egypt, and their needs were far greater than anybody imagined, I think, because they've seen trauma, they've lost everything, they've lost infrastructure, they've lost families, kids have lost education, they come hungry, just the clothes they have on, and most host governments have been good. Lebanese are not so good with refugees. They are still remembering what happened when the Palestinians came from Israel. The Palestinians, maybe 500,000 Palestinians, they've still not been given full rights because it's a very volatile situation in Lebanon. It's called a confessional democracy, which means that no matter who people vote for, there has to be the number of members of the parliament are determined by what faith people are registered in. So if the population is 40% Christian, there has to be 40% Christian MPs, and so it's split between Christian, Sunni Muslim, Shia Muslim, and Druze. So people have not seen how things can change. It's disenfranchised them. But the majority of Palestinian refugees are Sunni Muslims, and if they were given rights as citizens, that would tip the whole balance as far as the parliament is concerned, and that's they've avoided it by not having a census for 4 or 5 decades now, in case they find out how many they have.
On this note,
yes,
we will have to take a pause. We're going to a commercial break. Give you time to have a drink and have a break.
Okay.
Iman FM. This is Iman FM. You are listening Iman FM 103.1 FM.
कोई गुजरे हुए कल की बात करता है तो कोई आने वाले कल की बात। ताहिर चौधरी आपके लिए लाता है प्रोग्राम आज की बात। ज़ेरे बहस आते हैं मकामी और बैनुल अक़वामी हालात हर सोमवार दिन 1:30 बजे सिर्फ ईमान एफएम पर।
In the city of Sheffield, if you ever have an accident, do not fear. Mr. Compensator is here. He can provide you with a taxi, prestige, or 4x4 replacement vehicle in just 2 hours. Call 0114-3863-386 or visit mrcompensator.co.uk and let the experts manage your claim.
वो बचड़ा जरा गड्डी रोको ये क्या भीड़ भड़क नजर आ रहा है
हवलदार साहब ये सब जायका के लिए आए हैं
वो जायका
ये लोग जायका टेक अवे के जायकेदार खानों का जायका लेने आए हुए हैं फिश मसाला नान चिकन टिक्का नान लैम्ब टिक्का नान शीश टिक्का नान
वो मैं सदके जाऊं वो जायका कबाब्स एंड स्वीट्स पर
जायका से ताजा मिठाइयां और कढ़ाई गोश्त भी मिलता है
जायका कबाब एंड स्वीट्स 2 to 4 Chippingham Place Sheffield telephone 01142425800 Zaika also at 66 Wellgate Rotherham telephone 01709 300 400
Assalamu alaikum, this is Khalil Muhammad coming to you with an urgent appeal. One Community has established the first Islamic Education, Deaf and Special Educational Needs Centre where deaf Muslims and non-Muslims can attend Islamic classes to learn more about Islam using sign language.
However, this centre is under serious threat and we need your Qarz-e Hasna, a beautiful loan, and your zakat to help us keep it open. Please visit our website islamfordeaf.co.uk, that's Islam, FORDEAF.co.uk, or give us a call on 0121 291 7847.
Do you suffer from baldness? At Cosmetica Clinics, we may have a permanent solution for you. Our experienced team provides perfect hair transplantation with maximum density and natural results. Over 15 years experience. Get your hair back with the latest microfew transplantation and stem cell support. No scars, no stitches, pain-free process. Book your appointment today by visiting cosmetica.com or via WhatsApp or Viber on 0739 339 1024.
Equity Law Chambers Solicitors. When your rights are at stake, you need experienced defence lawyers. The law firm of Equity Law. Our experienced team of professionals can assist you in all matters, including family law, immigration, criminal law, drug offences, road traffic cases, fraud and money laundering. Call us today for expert advice on 01709 36 86 03 or visit us at elc-solicitors.co.uk. Equity Law Chamber Solicitors, advocating your rights.
Had an accident, not your fault. Khan Solicitors, a team of professionals dedicated to winning you 100% compensation with free advice and assistance. Over 15 years of experience assisting you with road traffic accidents, trips, slips, employer's liability. We can recover your uninsured losses, i.e. vehicle damage, recovery, storage and loss of earnings. Khan Solicitors, 351 Abbeydale Road, Sheffield. Come see us or call 0114 258 3399 or visit khansolicitors.com. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Iman FM. Time for the news.
Downgraded. Sergeant Alexander Blackman was jailed for murder after helmet camera footage was handed to prosecutors. But the Court of Appeal has now changed this charge to manslaughter because of new evidence he was suffering from stress. Sergeant Blackman
Sheffield, Rotherham, across South Yorkshire. This is Iman FM on 103.1 FM.
ईमान रेडियो 103.1 FM के सुनने वालों की खिदमत में परवेज यूसुफ का मोदबाना सलाम मैं आपके लिए एक खूबसूरत प्रोग्राम ला रहा हूँ चमनज़ारे गदर एक यादगार प्रोग्राम सुनना ना भूलिएगा 103.1 ईमान FM
Khan Solicitors, experienced criminal defence lawyers in defending your rights. We can assist you get the best possible outcome if you're involved in any criminal matters, including murder, drug offences, sexual offences including grooming, terrorism, fraud and money laundering. We can provide free advice and assistance 24/7 at the police station. Call us on 0114 258 3399 at 351 Abbeydale Road, Sheffield. Visit us at khansolicitors.com. Over 20 years experience in defending your rights.
Statistics says it fell to 4.7% between November and January. Hasn't been lower than that since 1975. An Irish woman found dead near a beach in India was travelling under a British passport. The victim in her 20s was reportedly discovered undressed at a popular tourist area in Goa. Trackers have posted swastika symbols and messages in Turkish from a number of high-profile Twitter accounts. Government departments meet
25 Rabta Marriage Helpline Musliman khandanon ko
food which has been dropped on the floor under the 5-second rule. Research shows it's unlikely to pick up harmful amounts of bacteria, although it's not risk-free. That's the latest. I'm Annie Green.
And takeaways. We can cover all aspects of the motor trade, and we have some excellent rates for taxis, minibuses.
Welcome back to Iman FM 103.1 FM. If you just tune in, I am your host, Abdul Kadir. I have two distinguished guests, David Vickers, David Curtis. I'm enjoying the show. There's a lot of good thing is coming out this morning. Please, feel free anytime you want to ring. The hotline number 0114-2425-200. God willing, we are doing a road listening campaign. If you want to know anything about that or any other issue, I have two guests. Feel free to ring, ask them anything you want. I will go quickly to David Vickers. We did not continue, we did not finish what we began about Lebanon, which is very, very volatile. And I myself personally, I would not like that job to be a president there. I will commit suicide, God forbid. Yes.
Yeah, so Lebanon has been part of me for 19 years and other places too. And wherever I go in disasters or conflict situations, any emergency, there are lots of needs to be met. But when people ask for help, it mobilizes lots of international NGOs and the UN, other people who can help. All of a sudden, these countries which may have been cut off before are bombarded with good people from all over the world. People of faith from people without faith. And we talked before about hope. These people give hope to these oppressed people, these refugees, these internally displaced people. And I believe that God has a plan for these nations, and that part of his plan is to get these people of hope planted in places where they are needed, and showing God's love and compassion to people. When you say Fatiha, you say, in the name of God, the source of all mercy and all compassion. I believe in that same God, and I believe if we want to work alongside God in giving mercy and compassion, then that's the source of hope. But there are people who want to stand in the way of God. So your job and my job is also to get people back to a relationship with God, to understand what he wants for the people and help him in that task. And that's my task, is to listen to what God wants me to do in any situation. I can't do everything, but maybe I can just plant seeds and help people to return to God and be blessed by him again.
Dear listeners, I don't know about you today, I'm very emotional. My two learned colleagues are not only praising God, and at the same time they are showing how much Muslim and Christian have in common. And equally the theme of Islam Awareness Week this year, what we have in common.
Yeah.
And a lot is coming out today, so beautiful. I do not tell them what I'm going to ask them, and that's a miracle of the Lord. Now, David Vickers, can you tell us what is your plan for Egypt? Because I understand you're going to make a second visit.
Yes.
And Egypt now, for me, I've been there twice for humanitarian, nothing else. And I'm frightened to go there now. It's becoming very, very, I look at that hostile, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it's very frightening for me. And I see I have witnessed with my eyes the pain and the suffering of these people. I have seen the level of poverty. I have seen, and for me personally as an outsider, I would go as far as say they have lost their human right. I'm not getting into politics, I'm talking purely as a human being.
Yeah.
Well, I was there in December, really at the request of people I met in Switzerland, in Co, in Initiatives of Change, young people who we used to meet for quiet times and listen to what God was saying together. And we had a good relationship formed. So I said, I'll come for a week in December. And they said, can you speak to some young people when you're here? Yeah, I'll do that. I thought it would just be half a dozen people. But they'd assembled 100 young people in a cafe for me to talk to, and they wanted me to talk about volunteering. And I reminded them of Fatiha again and said that, well, God gives us gifts of love, compassion and mercy. And because they're gifts of God, they're infinite, unending. So we have all this mercy, compassion and love which He's given us, and we can't keep it to ourselves. We must share it with other people. And they understood that, and they understood that the relationship with God, listening to God, sharing His love and compassion that's what volunteering is. And we had lots of questions and answers, and most of these young people were Muslims, but that wasn't a barrier. We just concentrated on the law that Jesus gave us, which is the same law that gave you, is love God and love each other. And everything else that we do can be wrapped up in those two things, love God and love each other. And the young people, when they had the Arab Spring and all the protests in Tahrir Square in Cairo, they had hope that things would change because of what they were doing. The young people had hope. But it's sort of drifted back into the polarization between Muslim Brotherhood and the army. But when I was speaking to the young people, and I will be speaking to them again, they want to go a different way. They want to go God's way rather than the old political polarization. So if we look at volunteering, if we look at loving each other, if we look at breaking down barriers, talking and listening to each other, I believe that is their hope for their future. And they want to go this middle way, a way of love.
That is very, very good. I'm enjoying this show today to the extent it's not like me with my emotion. I just want to sit and just listen. David, you mentioned early on the listening roadshow has already happened.
Yes.
One was in Liverpool University, and one took place also in Birmingham.
Yes.
And
London.
And London. Did you attend any of them?
No.
But have you had any feedback you can share with?
Yes, I've had feedback, and I trained the people that ran them.
Beautiful.
And the one in London was run by a young Muslim woman, Amina. I think you might have met her before. She's a beautiful young girl.
The Somali?
Yes. And she's very, very competent.
Yeah,
and she started that.
Yes.
And of course, the idea was, with all of these things, we did send people to help in Birmingham, because it was two elderly women that took the initiative. And so we sent people to help. And the young guy in Liverpool Hope University is also, I think he's from India. I think he's Indian.
Yeah, he is.
But he didn't need anybody else. He wanted to do it himself. And the whole idea behind this is that it will spread like a rash across the country. We want it to. So just because we're going to do one on Saturday in Sheffield does not mean we won't do more. We want to do as many as we can in different areas, different communities, by helping to do the initial one, because the process is actually quite a simple one, but it's effective. And the idea is not to judge anything to do with Brexit. We're banning that word, in fact. It's to do with we as human beings. We live here in the UK, and we all have different thoughts about what's going on. So we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity, and I mean every individual has the opportunity to say how the future looks to them and why, and what initiatives, remember we are called initiatives of change, what initiatives might they invent, come up with, that they need help with, to help the whole process move forward peacefully. And we know that all these other factions jump on the bandwagon and try and get in, like this right-wing thing that's going on at the moment. It's scary. But we shouldn't just sit back and let that happen. We have to... No, I won't use the word fight, because that's a negative word, but we have to respond in a positive way. Yeah. And so I'm hoping that from Saturday, you, my friend, have already got people in Doncaster, Rotherham and Bradford interested, and more in Sheffield. And I think this is a golden opportunity for us to start these sort of things. I am from Rotherham. I used to live in Rotherham, and my children were brought up there. And it really bothers me, the reputation that's being given to Rotherham because of all this other business that's been going on there. We've got to ride over that. It's
that's why I'm doing in Rotherham.
Good. We've passed it, and we've got to ride over it and start talking about a collective thing that affects all of us in this country. And that's what this roadshow is about, the listening roadshow. But we're going to listen and gather data. So we want to find out where the common worries or hopes lie, because we have even despair, and we want to feed this back to someone in government who's willing to listen. We don't know who's going to be willing to listen, but there will be someone. And our officers in London are within walking distance of the House of Parliament, so we will find someone who's willing to take this on board. So we want to gather the data and feed it back and say, look, this is what people are really worried about, not just immigration, which we know is a big one, but it's not just that. There's this, and this. Different communities have different priorities.
Now, do you want to add anything?
I was going to say,
David?
When we had the referendum campaign from both sides, there was a lot of misinformation that was spread by both sides. And we've lost our idea of trusting media, trusting politicians with any form of truth. So it's quite difficult to work out what is truth at the moment. So part of what we're doing is to get at the real truth, and not taking sides in or out, but just to give people an opportunity to vent their feelings and emotions and thoughts. It's their truth, and we all have our own version of what truth is, but I know what I believe, and other people know what they believe. So if we get a good cross-section of people who are being listened to, and we record and collect all this, their thoughts and things, then I think we're coming back to some semblance of real truth.
I have a question to both of you. last night I was watching news, and you already see the negativity is coming out between Scotland and Great Britain. I hope I prove to be wrong. My little brain tell me this is what we're going to hear for the next 2 years. This is my little brain now telling me, right, you're wrong. And then I was questioning myself. I said, now we're a family. In a family, it's part and parcel of the family life. You have good time, you have bad time, and equally sometimes you have big argument. Okay? But at the end of the day, we're still part of this family unit. And I'm asking myself, and I wonder if you can enlighten a bit, after 2 years, when we are breaking up family, how life going to be? For me, I don't want that to go into politics. I'm looking at humanity. For me, who did not vote either way, now I'll be saying, I wish I did vote. Look at the pain, the suffering. Look at all the negativity. You see where I'm coming from? David Curtis, you start. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
The way I look at it is a vacuum. I don't think that's the right word to use.
Well, there's another factor, which is history.
Okay.
And in our country, in this country that we live in, which is England, there is a lot of Scottish blood because of what's happened over the centuries. Many Scots integrated into this country, and I can just think my sister-in-law is from Scottish stock somewhere back. My friend Bob, you know Bob, he's from Scottish origins. Many people are from Scottish origins. So it's not just the border and the Scots that live in Scotland. There's a big Scottish influence throughout society in this country. And so I think that's yet to surface. You know, when we come to the actual, if it gets to the point where there's a talk of a real split, there's more to it than meets the eye. That's all I can say.
David, what you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think history is important, and also when families have disputes, they can either have some means of reconciliation, or the disputes go on for a long time and maybe never resolved.
Oh my God.
And I think the divisions caused by the referendum in this country have created lots of divisions in families, in communities, in groups. And some of these will be resolved if people have the means to resolve them, but some will go on for a long time. They need help to resolve.
I have to stop you there quickly too wide because I wish I got a few minutes to finish. You know, David Vickers has raised a very good point here. He's saying in family dispute, some of it lasts forever, and some of it can finish overnight. Now I believe we people of faith have a pivotal role to play in this situation.
Yes.
How do you see it, David?
I think people of faith always have a pivotal role in society to help as best they can with any situation. But just going on to the theme that I was talking about, and I mentioned somebody called Bob, which you happen to know too, but he has just been up to Scotland for the rugby, supporting Scotland. He was born in Scotland for one day and then brought down to England, but this man is more Scottish than... And so I think we stick to our origins, our traditions. Like me, as a chef, I was born in Sheffield, I was born in Darnell, This was my old stomping ground. When I work in London, and I've worked all over the world, by the way, with the work I used to do, I'm retired now, but I am still from Sheffield. I am a Yorkshireman, and always will be, and I think the same applies with these different nationalities, like Irish and Welsh and so on. And when it comes to the crunch, as a nation, we've always suddenly stuck together, you know, in times of conflict and strife. And I'm hoping that common sense will prevail in this whole thing with Scotland. I'm hoping that it will stop at a certain point and we won't split the nation. But I can only hope and pray.
David, lastly, we got 1 minute left. In 1 minute, what is the worst scenario you see?
Well, when I realised the result of the referendum, I was more concerned about the disintegration of the United Kingdom than about us coming out of Europe. Because we're still in Europe. We may not be in the Union, but we're still part of it, and we've still got a lot of connections with Europe. But I was more concerned about Ireland and Scotland splitting off and going their different ways.
Okay.
That still concerns me.
The show is about to finish now. I like to say a big thank you to my two distinguished guests, David Curtis, David Vickers, who are very busy, has made time. I have thoroughly enjoyed your company, and the peace we endeavor to spread, the love we're going to spread,
yes,
and most importantly, the bigger family we live in.
Yeah.
On this positive note, I like to say a big thank you to you for making time to come. God willing, I will see you on Saturday. And a big thank you to every one of you who have listened. And God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Sheffield, Rotherham, across South Yorkshire. This is Iman FM on 103.1 FM.
ईमान रेडियो 103.1 एफएम के सुनने वालों की खिदमत में परवेज यूसुफ का मोदबाना सलाम। मैं आपके लिए एक खूबसूरत प्रोग्राम ला रहा हूं, चमनज़ारे गज़ल। एक यादगार प्रोग्राम सुनना ना भूलिएगा 103.1 ईमान एफएम।
Khan Solicitors, experienced criminal defence lawyers in defending your rights. We can assist you get the best possible outcome if you're involved in any criminal matters, including murder, drug offences, sexual offences including grooming, terrorism, fraud and money laundering. We can provide free advice and assistance 24/7 at the police station. Call us on 0114 258 3399 at 351 Abbeydale Road, Sheffield. Visit us at khansolicitors.com. Over 20 years experience in defending your rights.
क्या आप बच्चों की शादी के सिलसिले में परेशान हैं? क्या आप बर्तानिया में ही बच्चों की शादी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप एक अच्छे रिश्ते की तलाश में हैं? अगर इन सवालों का जवाब हाँ में है, तो आपका मसला हल हो गया। बर्तानिया में रिहाइश पजीर आला तालीम याफ्ता किसी भी बरादरी के अच्छे रिश्तों के लिए आप राब्ता मैरिज हेल्पलाइन से इस टेलीफोन नंबर पर राब्ता कायम करें 0114 2425 400। राब्ता मैरिज हेल्पलाइन मुसलमान खानदानों को करीब लाने का राब्ता।